Okay, so for today's video, which is the same day as the other videos coming out, but yeah, for today's video, it is going to be about The Boys Season 2. Now, we went over how the rating system works in a previous video. If you want to know, there's 5 categories: plot, acting, dialogue, cinematography, and soundtrack, with additional categories of immersion, comedy, world building, and characters. The additional categories don't really matter nearly as much as the first 5 categories. But for The Boys Season 2, I gave the plot an 8.9. Um, Sorry, I hit the desk there. Probably was pretty loud in the mic. Um, yeah, for season 2 of The Boys, the introduction of Stormfront, had to wipe my nose there. The introduction of Stormfront and just the idea of basically how like Nazi type fascism has risen in America, I thought it was a pretty good parody of the real world in the way that we can have like patriotic people in our country, but at some point their willingness to be patriotic and their willingness to kind of say America, 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 no matter what, sometimes it can be twisted and used against them, kind of like we're currently seeing. It can be twisted and used against them how much they care about our country, to the point where it kind of manipulates them and it starts puppeting them and it starts making them think, as you see in season 2 of The Boys with Stormfront, it starts making them think that the ideas that America traditionally does not ascribe to. They don't ascribe to these ideas of fascism and these ideas of outcasting people. Famously, we're considered the melting pot of the world. We're considered basically the home for everybody to come here and kind of contribute their ideas, and that's what we are. Is at the end of the day, we are our own people to begin with, but then we are also welcoming of others, and we're using everybody's talents and everybody's life experience to create something meaningful, beautiful, one might say. But yeah, I think The Boys season 2 does a really good job of showing how just basic, everyday, like average people can be tricked by whether it's celebrities, influencers, politicians. In The Boys, they're kind of the same thing. I don't know why we have these squirrels and birds in my wall. I don't know what's going on. Um, it's weird. Anyway, but yeah, I think they do a really good job of showing that. They even have a scene, I think, in one of the episodes. I forget what episode it is, but it shows basically the equivalent of the alt-right pipeline happening to somebody in the Boys universe, where they basically get convinced by not Starlight, by Stormfront's like podcast and all the like media appearances that she does, that basically her, like, not her, basically that his neighbors are soups, and they're bad guy soups, and they're terrorist soups, and that his neighbors, his fellow Americans, are out to get him, and they're secretly plotting to kill people. And it shows basically the radicalization of that guy, and it ends up, spoiler alert if you don't want to hear this, he ends up killing the guy. He ends up killing the guy at a gas station because he thought he was a terrorist soup, because of basically all the fear mongering that Stormfront did, and it just resulted in a real world, effect. I was gonna say casualty, real world casualty. That sounds a little weird, but it actually ended up affecting somebody in real life. Just the dangerous rhetoric that Stormfront is spewing, and there is a reason The Boys works the way it does, where it's a mirror of real life, because stuff like that has happened in real life. You have instances of people basically being convinced by like far right media that people are sex trafficking, human trafficking, like children, and you have these instances where people who have been radicalized by their media have gone and actually basically committed acts of violence against people that they don't know what's going on. They don't, like, it's hard to talk someone down when you don't know why they think the things that they think. And that's kind of what this season 2 hits at with their plot. I think they do it beautifully, and I think they show Homelander, in our case Donald Trump, they showed his willingness to use Stormfront's fascism slash Nazi beliefs because he is so power hungry. He doesn't care what it takes to get to the top. He doesn't care what it takes to manipulate these people. He doesn't care what it takes. He will do anything. And again, perfect reflection of our society. It doesn't matter how Trump, like, it doesn't matter what methods he uses to climb to the top. He will use any of them, no matter what. And they really show Homelander kind of, fully leaning into that in this season. I just think they did a beautiful job with the plot this season. Um, did another really good job with the girls get it done stuff, kind of mocking Disney, for not even kind of mocking Disney, definitely mocking Disney, for the scene in Avengers Endgame where basically all the like I don't want to say female superheroes because I know female, whenever people use the word female, it comes off as like, you know, you're like degrading intentionally. You're you're referring to them as an other. But that's the most accurate way I can say it here. I can't say woman superheroes. I can't say girl superheroes. So I'm gonna say female superheroes. Um, but yeah, they do a good job of kind of poking fun at at Disney basically for their, I don't want to use the word woke because those people are insufferable. The people who overuse the word woke, um, basically, they show how Disney basically prioritizes diversity, um, over quality, over the actual message that they're putting out there. They don't care about the quality of what they're doing. They just care about putting the message out there. And I think what the boys' commentary on that is that you can do both at the same time. With Their Girls Get It Done that happened at the end of the season, they show these three kick-ass women basically beating the shit out of a Nazi, and there's really nothing more badass than that. And that's the way to do representation of women in media. It's not to do this weird team up. Oh, I got your back. It's not to do that weird thing. It's to, you know, actually show these real characters. Because the way they did it in Endgame, it's like those women don't really interact with each other, and then just out of nowhere they're all together and they all fight together. They had a scene like that in Infinity War too, but it's they're not actually doing like they're not actually showing representation in the way that it should be done. It should be done in a way that it's not cringy and it doesn't feel like you're getting in your one bit of representation in the movie and then you're dipping back out. And that's kind of been Disney's problem, is that the way they use representation is to check off a checkbox. It's not to actually do it. It's just to check off a checkbox. Look, we did that, so they can use it for their promos, for their commercials, or whatever it may be. It's never been genuine, is what I'm getting at. And I think the boys did a really good job of showing genuine representation in their seasons. I just feel like they did a really good job with poking fun at Disney, being a parody of the MCU, being a parody of the DCU, and also reflecting our real world and serious issues that we have going on today in America. So that was the plot. Yeah, it's more. I kind of hinted on more of like the behind the scenes stuff of the plot and not actually the plot of the season, like not actually the things that are happening. So I'll dive a little bit deeper into that right now. I think the deep storyline is a little, I don't like it. Victoria Newman. We have the introduction of Victoria Newman in the season, and it's phenomenal. She's one of the best characters on the show, and she makes the show better pretty much constantly. Every time she's in a scene, she makes it better. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this season with the Deep and A-Train storylines, it's like, okay, so you don't have anything for them to do, so you're gonna put them through this weird cult, weird storyline that just kind of loops back around to, you know, both of them being in the Seven. Like, it just kind of felt like they didn't know what to do with them in this season. Okay, so now I feel like we can actually go on to acting. 8-2. This is a move up from season 1 of The Boys from an 8. I feel like with a season of experience, I feel like a lot of the actors have gotten to know their characters a little bit better, and I feel like they did a better job of actually showing who the characters are and how they interact. And I know this is going to sound weird because she's a villain and she's like, you know, kind of like not really a good person at all. Stormfront's actress, I don't know her name, but Stormfront's actress, she did a phenomenal job, both in the stage where you don't know that she is a Nazi and in the stage where you know that she's a Nazi. She did a phenomenal job of acting during all of that, and I just feel like it was really good, and definitely deserved a bump up from season 1 of The Boys. And also, I believe with Newman, adding Newman's character into the show, I think just ups the acting. She's a better actor than the average of the cast, if that makes sense. Dialogue, 8-4. This goes up from season 1 of The Boys. It goes up from an 8 to an 8.4 because I feel like there was a lot of like quotable lines that happened in this season. I felt like there was a little bit more meaningful dialogue that kind of like accurately portrayed. I'm gonna keep using portray a lot because boy, I don't have a deep enough vocabulary. I'll tell you that. Um, but yeah, I think basically I just think the dialogue's better. I think they did a better job of actually letting the characters speak their minds and actually speak in a way that made sense, and it actually complemented their character and the story. And again, this is all for a point 0.4 boost. It's not as crazy as I'm making it out to be, but it's still good. Cinematography stays the same as season 1. Nothing to really mention here that I didn't mention in the first video. It's fine. It's not going to knock your socks off. It's not bad. It's not noticeably bad. It's just fine. Soundtrack 8.6. I don't remember most of the soundtrack from this season, to be honest. I remember they had the Aerosmith song in here. Dream On. Love that song. But outside of that, I don't really remember most of the soundtrack. So 8.6 because it was a little bit less memorable than season 1. That's just, it's about memorability if you're not going to have an original soundtrack, and I don't remember a lot of it. Okay, now we go on to the bonus categories. Immersion. NA, not really needed here to talk about The Boys. Not really an immersion type show. Comedy stays in 8.4. Spoiler alert for the other videos for The Boys. It's all on 8.4. The Boys comedy is The Boys comedy. It's going to stay The Boys comedy throughout the entire show. It's okay. It complements the story. There's some funny moments. It pretty much all comes from the deep or noir, or occasionally it'll come from Butcher, but and sometimes you laugh at like something that Homelander does that's messed up, but it's not like funny. It's funny, messed up funny, if that makes sense. So yeah, The Boys, I'd say 8.4 comedy. It's fine. World building. Now, I gave it an 8.4 on world building for season 2. They do kind of go back and, world build on the fact that, okay, well, Stormfront was around in World War II, and it kind of shows you the history of Vought as a company and how things have developed with superheroes through, our civil rights era. And to me, that felt meaningful, but outside of that, I don't think they did a lot at all as far as world building compared to the first season. So, yeah, not really a fan of the world building. It comes down from a 9.1 in season 1 to a 8.4 in season 2. Really big fan of the 8.4s with the season here, apparently. But yeah, I don't know. It was okay. They gave some history, but it's nothing again that's gonna blow your socks off, knock your socks off. Characters 9. This goes up 0.1 points from season 1. They introduced Victoria Newman and Stormfront, both characters that I feel like helped the story a pretty decent amount. Obviously, Stormfront being representative of Nazi fascism that has taken hold in America, and Newman pretty much being this like combo character, mainly a parody of AOC, but also kind of like a combo character with just like the traditional politician of today's age. So, yeah, all of that combines for a 8.7 for The Boys season 2. The Boys season 1 got an 8.8 from me. The Boys season 2 gets an 8.7 for me. The reason why I think this 8.7 is almost, and this is going to sound weird because I gave it a lower rating, the 8.7 for The Boys season 2 I think is almost more impressive than the 8.8 for season 1, is because the reason that The Boys season 1 has an 8.8 is because it was fresh, it was intriguing, it was new, and it got a lot of points just for that. And if it wasn't intriguing, new, and fresh, it probably falls in about the 8.4, 8.3 category. But The Boys season 2 gets that 8.7 without having to be intriguing, new, and fresh. It can just be a season 2. So yeah, 8.7 is what I rate The Boys season 2. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Definitely enjoyed it. It's, I don't know, The Boys is a show that you can't really like suggest to anybody because of how gory it is. You have to know who you're suggesting it to when you suggest it to them, because if you suggest it to the wrong person, they are going to look at you differently. They're gonna say, "Brother, what are you watching?" Like it's, I don't know. It's a strange show. It's very unique. I'll give it that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Season 3 and Season 4 should be up on the channel for you guys to watch if you want to watch it after this. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and peace.